another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little chit chat, get ready with me hair edition. And while I'm doing this hair, I'm going to be telling you about my sugar daddy experience. Anyway, so first things first, this hair is from Ali Julia Hair. You guys will probably see me do a lot of videos with their hair just because I get their hair a lot and I do like it. Every experience I've had with their hair has been good so far. So it all started last year, my junior year of college. I went to the Bahamas with a friend. We're chilling at the restaurant and it's like a group of 5 old men. Yeah, 5 old men just staring at us, like, you know, and we're just like, hi, what are you staring at? And, you know, they were friendly. They didn't like say anything disrespectful, so we were just like, hi, whatever, you know, the usual old man, like, oh, y'all so gorgeous, where y'all from, blah blah blah. So after a while they start sending us drinks, y'all, and the thing about it is they sent us drinks that I didn't even like. It was like beer. I was like, the hell, I don't want this. So then the one man, like, we're getting ready to leave and the man's like, so where y'all heading to tonight? Just this one specific man, and he happened to be with a white man who was really British. He was British or Israeli, something like that. But so they're like, oh, where are you going or whatever. We're like, oh, we're going to this certain place, you know, like, and they were like, oh, well, let's give you a ride, like, you know, hop in my car, we can give you a ride. I'm looking at my friend like, hell no, we are not catching a ride from old men in a whole foreign country. Like, it will not be me, it will not be us. This is not going to be another story on the news. Like, you're not going to see our faces on the news. And she's like, I mean, it's 2 of us, like, what's the worst that could happen, you know, like, lighten up. So I'm like, you know what, okay, if you say so. So we get in his car and his friend is with him. See, if it was just him, I would have felt a little better, but the fact that it was 2 guys and 2 girls, let me tell you, I was on edge that whole time. Like, I was looking at the locks on the door, everything. So they take us to our hotel. I'm changing real quick. On the way to the hotel, so the white man was more so quiet. I think he was married. Honestly, they probably both are married. Yeah, they were both married. But anyway, so he asked all these questions. He was like, so y'all like to travel? He's like, I've been everywhere. I have a house in Nassau. Like, pretty much just telling us that, well, I guess subliminally telling us that he got money. Like, that's what he's trying to tell us. And my friend was like, are you married or whatever? It's crazy too, because in my vlog I videotaped a little bit of our conversation with him, because he kept on calling me uptight because I was so, like, not here for it. Like, I just was not. I was trying to feel him out to see if he was about to get kidnapped. So he was like, you need to loosen up, nobody's gonna kidnap you, all this stuff. So we were talking and he just kept on asking to look at our feet and our nails. He was just a freaking weirdo, but it was entertaining. I mean, you know. So then he started talking about, no, like, this one girl called him, this young girl called him, and he was like, yeah, come out tonight and make sure you look cute and don't bring, like, he was just talking to them like he was a pimp, you know. So me and my friend are just keep note of this. We're like, oh, he a little pimp, okay, or whatever. So he takes us to where we need to go, and, you know, like, we don't feel obligated to stay with him. Like, we got a ride, we wasn't staying with you, you know what I'm saying? So in the end, like, we split ways or whatever, but he caught back up with me. I forgot. Okay, well, he asked me for my number, right? And I was like, oh, okay, here's my number. I gave him, like, the wrong number. So then he, like, I guess he called my number and realized it was a wrong number. It was a fake. And he confronted me. He was like, hey, you gave me the wrong number. Let me tell y'all, when he confronted me saying that I gave him the wrong number, I was so shook. Like, I did not think he was gonna call it right then and there. And Lord knows, I didn't really want to give him my real number, but I was scared. I thought he was gonna, like, I don't know, I was just scared when he, like, confronted me about it. So I was like, oh, my bad, I didn't give you the wrong number. I changed my number recently, so I gave you the old one or whatever, which technically was true. So yeah, he had my number, right? But he didn't call me or nothing like that, so I just didn't see nothing of it. So while we're at the Bahamas, I don't think we ran into him any other night. When I left the Bahamas, like, this 1242 number, because that's the area code of I guess Freeport or the Bahamas in general. So this 1242 number just kept on calling me, like, continuously. So I blocked it. I thought that it was this one guy, because when we got there, this one guy, I swear, y'all, I don't even mean to sound like that type of girl, but this one guy claims that he fell in love with me. Like, he was really trying to wife me and stuff like that. The thing about it is that I was 20 at the time, and this dude was probably like a whole 35. But the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, I had a few drinks that night, so, you know, when you drink people look younger and people look good, but then when you see them the next day, you're like, oh my god, what was I thinking? Because I had gave him my WhatsApp that night or whatever, but then I saw him the next morning. I was like, what? It's like, oh, now I see, bruh, drinking, there's just no good that can come out of it. There isn't. The next day, this dude was looking really like, ew, he looked old. Just no. He was a sweetheart, no offense to him, but nah. So I, you know, ignored him. Like, I tried my best to like avoid him, but it's just being Freeport, it was a smaller town, so like I kept on running into him and everything. So I blocked him. I blocked what I thought was him, right? So I blocked that number, and then the next day another 242 number keeps calling me. I'm like, what is going on? I still didn't answer. I blocked this number too. So the next day a Florida, like a Miami, Florida area code number was calling me. This was March when I went to the Bahamas, right? Like for months I would keep on getting 242 numbers calling me, and I just blocked them. And after a while it stopped, right? But then in the summer, I believe it was like June, a 242 number calls me again. I'm like, yo, it's June, March, April, May. That's like 2 months. Like, I didn't even do anything with you to make you feel that attached, like to be calling me for 2 months, you know? Like, this is not a love story. Just stop. Let it go, you know? So then I texted the number. I was like, I'm not going to answer unless you let me know who this is, because this is ridiculous. And they didn't answer. They just kept calling me. So I'm like, you know what? You know what? So I answered the phone. I'm like, hello? And this deep voice answers. He's like, hello, oh my god, I've been trying to reach you forever. Do you know who this is? I'm like, no, who is this? He was like, you remember the man who gave y'all a ride in Freeport, whatever? So I'm like, oh yeah, I do. But so I was like, oh yeah, like I was kind of upset, like what, like okay, whatever. So he's like, yeah, how are you, and all this stuff, you know, just chatting. I'm just like being nice, not hanging up. So I was like, I'm good, thanks for calling. Like, why are you trying to reach me so long? Like, did I forget something in your car or something? He was like, no, I just really liked you from when you came into my car. He was like, yeah, I liked you and I had been thinking about you or whatever. I'm like, okay. So then he was like, so when's the next time you're coming to the Bahamas? And realistically speaking, me and my friend did plan to go to Nassau instead of, no, like the next time we go, we were planning to go to Nassau since we went to Freeport. But I mean, it didn't happen. Like, you know, we were just excited from the trip. It was a good trip, so we thought we'd go back, but nah. So, this being said, I was like, yeah, like I don't think we're gonna go or nothing like that. He was like, no, come to Nassau. Like, it's way different. You'll really enjoy it. And I'm like, do you got Nassau money? Because I don't got Nassau money. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So he was like, oh, I got you. I can send you a ticket or whatever. He was like, where do you live? Like, what state do you live? Girl. I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah, I got you. I can get you a ticket or whatever. He was like, bring your friend again. Like, he's talking about, oh, I got you with the ticket or whatever. So I'm like, when he said that, my eyes lit up. I'm like, oh, because when I had answered this call, when I knew that when I hung up, I was going to block this man. But when he talking about trips, I was like, oh, I might just entertain this. Like, dead serious. And don't judge me. But yeah, so, he's like, yeah, where do you live or whatever. Then he was like, okay, I know the airport over there. That's here or whatever. So then he starts talking to me, and he's just saying little creepy stuff, little by little. He's like, yeah, I like your voice or whatever. It's so seductive. Just saying unnecessary things. But I'm still ignoring it because in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm getting me a ticket to the Bahamas, and I'm bringing a friend. And guess what? We're not even going to see this man because I will dead ass, like, duck him, you know? Like, I had a whole plan thought out. So I called my friend, like the one that I went to the Bahamas with originally, and I was like, oh, so guess who's, you know, just contacted me, like the old man or whatever. And she's laughing at me. She's like, girl, you better get you a sugar daddy, like he's rich and whatnot. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like, I don't know what was going through my head, but I was like, you know what? Girls be having sugar daddies and be getting money, like, for nothing. And I'm like, it's no way that he's going to get in my pants because he's in the Bahamas. So I'm just playing along, you know, being dumb. So as we get to the middle of the story, he starts calling me every single night. And of course, I'm not going to answer every single night. I have friends. I have a family. And like, you're an old ass man. Like, I know you're nasty. I know why you're calling me late at night. Like, even though I was, you know, low-key thinking about the sugar daddy plan, there's a boundary that I'm willing to stop at. Like, that I'm, you know, not willing to cross. So one night I was like, you know what, let me just answer this man. So I'm talking to him. So yeah, I would answer his calls like in the daytime or in the evening. But when he would try and call me like 3 in the morning, I'm like, dude, no. he was asking me like, where do I work and stuff like this. And you know, of course I'm gonna tell him I'm broke as hell because I'm trying to see if I could smuggle any money out this man. So I was like, yeah, I'm broke, I don't got no job, I live with my dad, like just lying about everything because like I don't need him to know where I am. He was like, well, just let me know your last name so I can send you money. I'm like, okay, that's a whole lie because how can you send somebody money by just knowing their last name? So I did my research and I went to my mom because look, if you have immigrant parents, they always have to send money back home and stuff. So I knew that she would know. So I was like, Mom, is there a way people can send you money by just knowing your full name? She was like, yeah, MoneyGram. All you need is the name and the state and they can pick it up with their ID. So I'm like, oh, really? Okay, so he's serious. So I told him my last name and stuff like that. And he was like, all right, I'm about to send you a little bit. Then he was like asking me like, so what do you want? Like, what's the most expensive pair of shoes you ever had? And I told him, they were like, the most expensive pair of shoes I ever had probably was like $400. Designer like boots. And he was like, oh, you broke for real. And he was asking me like, what car do I drive? I was like, I drive a Hyundai Elantra, like a 2013 Elantra. He's like, yeah, you really broke. And I'm thinking like, okay, first off, you're not gonna sit here and call me broke because even though I am broke, I'm not broke. Like, I have a lot of shit, okay? And don't call me broke. At the same time, you know, you gotta play the role. So I was like, yeah, I'm broke, whatever. He was like, well, it's okay, I got you. And then he was like asking me my shoe size and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool. So the more and more as it started seeming like I was about to get some money, I kept on entertaining him, right? And I remember it was one day that I was like, I forgot where I was, but I was around kids or whatever. And I accidentally answered and I was like, oh, like I'm gonna talk to you later or whatever because I'm around kids. He's like, why are you always around kids? And I lied. I was like, yeah, I got little brothers and sisters, which I technically do. But he was like, you know what? I need to get you your own apartment. What city do you live in again? I'm gonna start searching. I'm like, dude, shut up. You know you was not getting nobody an apartment. He was like, no, I really am because I just want you to myself. Like, I need privacy. I want to be able to talk to you whenever I need to. Like, you always be busy. He was like, you shouldn't have to work either. I can take care of you if you take care of me and stuff like that. And let me tell y'all, like, all this stuff was disgusting me. Like, I was like, you're disgusting. But, you know, the thought of that check was still promising. So I was still entertaining it. So, yeah. And then one night he FaceTimed me because before it was just on the phone, which I didn't mind because honestly I used to just put him on speaker and just go to sleep. Like I barely had to say anything. But then he FaceTimed me one day, so I'm like, like he took it to FaceTime. But I did answer or whatever, and I was just chilling. He's like, so what do you have on? I'm like, freaking pajamas. He was like, let me see. I'm like, okay, this is where I crossed the line. So I just like pretty much joked out of it. I was like, no, you don't need to see my pajamas or whatnot. So then he was like, you want to see what I have on? I'm like, I'd rather not. He was like, well, guess. I'm like, I'm guessing you have your pajamas on too. He's like, no, I'm actually naked. Bruh. As soon as he said that, he like started to face the camera. I hung up so fast. I was like, no, I cannot. Like, nope, I'm not going to let go of my freaking morals like this. But believe you me, he did call back on the phone instead of FaceTime, and I answered like the next day. So he was like, why'd you hang up on me? And I was just like, yeah, no, like, don't do that. And he was like, oh, you're so innocent. You're one of those innocent girls or whatever. And I was just like, whatever, I guess. So it was to a point where I'm just like, okay, man, just send me some money so I could block you. We can just forget about all this shit. So he was like, oh, yeah, I got to send you your money or whatever. But he was like, oh, today is like a Bahamian holiday. It was like their Independence Day or something. And he was like, I can't send it today. So I'm thinking like, this dude is lying. So I Googled it to see if it was really their Bahamian Independence Day. And it was like, yeah, it is. So I was like, okay, he might be telling the truth. So then the next day, he was like, yeah, I'm about to send you some money or whatever. He was like, can you send me your last name just one more time or whatever? So I'm like, okay, they paid off. So I sent him my last name or whatever. And he's like getting ready to, I guess, go to the bank because he was getting his car and stuff like that. And another thing that blew me is like, he would like have, I guess, assistants and stuff for his company. And he would like show my face. Like, well, not would like, but he did. This one time, like, I was on FaceTime with him. He showed people my face. He was like, yeah, look at this pretty ass girl I'm talking to, whatever. Like, this is one of my girlfriends. I was like, nigga, I'm not your girlfriend. Like, you need to stop tripping. I'm not your girlfriend. I just need some money real quick. But then, so he was in the car. Like, he told his assistant to go or whatever. And he was like, so yeah, I'm about to send you this money. But I need you to do something for me real quick. I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, I need you to make me smile before I make you smile. I'm sitting there like, no. So he was like, yeah, take your shirt off real quick. I was like, no mas, no mas, I'm good. I was like, no. He was like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna give you this money for free. Like, you gotta do something for me. You gotta make me happy since you're my girlfriend or whatever. I was like, sir, I'm not your girlfriend or whatever. And he was like, yeah, like, that's all you gotta do if you want some money. I have this money right here. He was showing me like him do the transaction. But let me tell you, y'all, I said no. I was like, no, thank you. And I hung up. So then the next day, he called me. He was like, man, you're so innocent. Like, you blow me. Like, why are you so innocent? And whatnot. He's like, I'm gonna have to change that about you. He was like, yeah, before I send you money, I'm just gonna send you to the Bahamas first so that I can get this innocence out you, whatever. He was like, and bring a friend. Like, bring one of your wild friends, whatever. I'm like, dude, I said no, let it go. So yeah, the final straw for me was when he was like, take your shirt off, whatever. So he called me the next day. He's like, yeah, you too innocent. Like, I do need to get you an apartment. Because he was like, I feel like if you're more by yourself, you will be, you know, more willing to like make me happy. And I'm like, dude, I don't even like you. So I remember I was like, you know what, just no. Like, I was like, just let it go or whatever. I was like, I really just don't need your money that bad. Like, it's okay. So I hung up and I blocked him, right? Bruh, why does this dude have like 80 million phone numbers? He kept on calling me from Miami phones, from what's it called, Bahamas phones. I was scared out of my mind. Like, I thought he'd be able to track me down, but I just kept blocking every single one. And like a week later, he stopped calling, so that was good. And that was the story pretty much of my potential almost sugar daddy. So I didn't really gain anything from him, but it just taught me like, bruh, desperate times call for desperate measures. But at the same time, like, no, I'm not built for that. Like, some girls are built for that lifestyle. Like, they, you know, especially if it's over the phone, they can do that over the phone. But for me, like, I guess I am just too innocent. So yeah, it was a no-no for me. Just the sound of his voice like disgusted me. Like, I was like, no. Like, I was just thinking like, okay, other girls do this and they be getting like $1,000 a month. Like, all I gotta do is talk on the phone. But I just couldn't do it, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it.